You're tuned in to Grown Folks Production. In the mix with the commish, Nate.
Hey now, and welcome into a very tired Press Pass Live. I'm your host, the commish, Nate. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm all by myself. I do expect Maniac, though, to jump in at some point, and hopefully he'll be able to do that and come hang out with me just a little bit. I am crazy. We're out, but I am super pumped to be with you here tonight. So thanks for those of you who are tuning in for a Wednesday night edition of Press Pass Live, the world's oldest and longest online CFM. I forgot words. They're going to be escaping me tonight. But tonight, you see, words are already escaping me. It's been a long day. Was in Austin for 2 days. Just got back a little while ago. Showered. Jumped on here because I promised we would do a Press Pass Live. So that's just what we're going to do. And also scarfed down some quick snacks. And so I'm trying to not to spit that all over my mic. Yeah, we'll get it through. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm sorry I'm flying solo, but Mr. Maniac, I think, got caught up, but he hopefully will be able to join me in just a little bit. Let's do some unpacking, some reviewing, some looking back before we unpack some fun memorial-themed week Press Pass Live agenda items. Week number 8, looking back at it, a ton of really good games. There were some really classic games this week. And the Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be the one that I want to point out and talk about. Chargers have just been a consistent pain in the AFC this entire Madden cycle. He has gotten that close from winning him a championship. I know the game got away from him against Trey and the Lions, but still, he was right there, and I expect him to make another run here as we come to a close in Madden 24. The Kansas City Chiefs, on the other hand, have been struggling this season for some weird reason. Things just seem to be a little bit off. Kansas City scores 15 in the fourth quarter to tighten this one up to a 3-point game, but the Chargers scored 13, and they come away with a nice victory. I'm going to lower down this music just a little bit more. 544 total yards for the Chargers, 518 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Not too bad. 2 interceptions or 2 turnovers for both of these teams. 133 rushing yards for the Chargers, 440 passing yards for the Kansas City Chiefs, and 23 first downs. It just ended up being one of those games where Kansas City could not punch it in just enough. Mahomes, a pretty good game. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, but 451 passing yards, 102.7 QBR. Herbert struggled, 623 passing yards, but the 2 interceptions would come back to haunt him. A bunch of guys had pretty decent stats, just none of them really broke anything super magnificent. 69 for Bennett, Akers 65, Winters 62. The receivers are who went off in this one. Fredrickson 5 for 190, Clinton 7 for 186, and Nash, oh my gosh, the tight end Nash, 153 passing yard or receiving yards. And I'm pausing because I'm like, did this game get played human to human? And if so, I'm pretty sure that broke FPR. I could be wrong. I needed to do the numbers. But anyway, if either one of those guys watch this, come on, we got to be careful with all that. Look at the defense really quick. 11 tackles for Bolton, 11 tackles for James. Tackles for loss is going to be Bosa with 3. 1 sack from Bosa, 1 sack from Nugent, and then a couple of interceptions. 1 from James, 1 from McDuffie, and 1 from Michael Snow, the second-year cornerback. And the Kansas City Chiefs fall to the Chargers by 3 points. That's a look at week number 8. Looking at week number 9, a bunch of more really good games. New England and Miami, 24-21. Philadelphia and Tampa Bay, 24-19. Some really great scores in this one. 34-30, Toronto beats Denver. New Orleans with a 3-point victory over Dublin, 30-27. And then the Detroit Lions fall to the New York Giants, 37-35. But the game that I wanted to look back and talk about are going to be right here. The Jacksonville Jaguars with a 27-24 victory over the New York Jets. I fell to the Jacksonville Jaguars earlier this season, as they just have put together quite the magnificent season as they get going here. And it looks like Mr. Maniac has joined us. So Maniac, get ready, because I'm going to be coming right back to you for week number 10. Good to see you, buddy. You doing okay tonight?
Yeah, doing good. I was trying to be quiet, but my wife's in the background being loud and stuff. So
I didn't want you to be quiet. I need to know you were here, so I appreciate you making time. Listen, this just is a random Wednesday. My guy over here has been waiting on his hands for me to get home, and I'm so exhausted. I was like, I can't wait 20 minutes for him to say, oh, I'm busy tonight. So I was like, I just got to get going. So this is all my fault, but I am really glad the founder and the commissioner of the Deuce, Mr. Maniac, the owner of the Atlanta Falcons. I'm glad my buddy's here with me. I thought I was flying solo, so I set it up to be solo, but Maniac is with me, and I'm super pumped about that.
Sorry.
Anyway, no, don't be sorry. It's my fault. Jacksonville scoring 10 points in the fourth quarter, and I think it was either Maniac or Kevin for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, one of those guys, and maybe it was both. I was playing PUBG that night, and they were like, yo, Jacksonville just knocked off the Jets. That is a big-time win for Pepper, who hasn't been able to be as fully engaged as he normally would be in a Madden cycle. But, man, he has gotten things rolling this season. 20 first downs, 216 passing yards, 166 rushing yards, the 2 turnovers, and it got rolling. What's up, Daniel? Good to see you, bud. Thanks for checking out Press Pass Live with us tonight. And then looking at a couple of player stats. Zach Wilson, 105.9, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. But the Jaguars getting after him with the 3 sacks. Lawrence, not an amazing day. 216, 1-1. Rushing, though, this is where Jacksonville really shined. 26 for 106 for Etienne. Bigsby, 6 for 49. Hall had a tough day, 10 for 44. Just not enough carries there. Takey, I don't know. He's got 4 for 92. Hardman had 4 for 92. A couple of these guys scored some touchdowns. And then looking at the defense really quick, Bayless had 13 tackles. Graham had 12. So the Jets were playing some really good defense, or maybe they were playing bad defense. They just couldn't get off the field. Bush with 2 tackles for a loss. Hamilton and Nash each for 2 tackles for a loss. And then a couple of sacks here. Hamilton, Nash, Overshown, and Townsend each getting in the action. And then Woods and Carter with some interceptions, and Jacksonville with a big-time victory. And if I'm the Jets, I'm starting to worry about these little losses that have happened throughout the season, and are they going to add up whenever it comes to seeding? Because we know seeding, especially in the AFC, is so crazy important. What's up, Bronco, man? I see you're playing a game, man. Multitasking over here, playing a game and checking out Press Pass Live. I love you. I appreciate you. Thanks, Dwight. Appreciate you, man. Mr. Maniac, are you ready to look at week number 10, my buddy?
I am ready.
Take it away.
Hopefully my voice sounds all right, since I got a new headset, because my other one broke. But
no, you sound good.
Yeah,
it's not the voice that sounds bad. It's just the noise in the back. But here on Press Pass Live, it's not bad at all.
All right, well, that's good. Man, we had some really good games in week 10. Just looking down the list, we could talk about the Saints and Tampa Bay. This game was a 38-35 victory by New Orleans. This game was a nail biter and a barn burner at the same time. Detroit, man, they put up a lot of points on Minnesota, but I think this was a CPU game. So, Tim, don't be spamming the CPUs, you know. I got to take a little jab. Dublin and
that was a right
Steelers,
hook.
man.
I don't know if that's a jab.
The Black Knights and the Steelers, man, this Priest gets a win. I'm pretty sure this was a game that was played, because it shows it was played. So, but you know, that's a great win there for the Black
He did.
Knights.
I remember he logged into my game against the Tampa Bay Bucks and was like, "Oh, I just won." I was like, "Look at that! That's a big time victory."
And then we have a couple of them. A lot of games we had some really close games. If you look at the Chargers 27-26 victory over Cincy and the Bengals, I actually kind of thought about talking about this one. You got Miami defeating the Jacksonville Jaguars, who just the week prior defeated the Jets. But this game was a really good game, 31-26. Seattle and Arizona, 35-30. That was a really good game as well. I kind of got a few peeks in on this game as it was going on. Denver knocking off San Antonio. San Antonio defeated D-Money during the couple weeks ago, and now he's kind of got that target on his back. So, everybody's kind of coming after them. So, but again, another really good game, 31-28 victory for the Broncos. But the one game I wanted to highlight on is one from the NFC East, and I passed over it a while ago. The Giants getting a big victory here in Dallas. And
can I give you a very fast update? I don't want to interrupt you, but this is important in our conversations about this game. Dwayne says he was completely sober.
Oh, that's...
I don't know that I believe it, but that's what he told me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that votes good confidence for Colin, man, because we've talked about the Giants several times on Press Pass Live, and we've said that Colin's built a really good team. We didn't know what's going on. It seemed like he's struggling, but this season, man, he is putting together a spectacular season. He's got these Giants rolling, especially on that defense. His defense is playing really good. But when we look at the stats, just kind of scoping down through the stats here. Offensive yards, Giants 433, 471 for the Cowboys. Both teams getting it done on the offensive side. But look at the big discrepancy here. 24 yards rushing on offense for the Giants compared to 174 for the Cowboys. But who needs to run the ball when you can throw it for 409 yards? And the Cowboys only had 297 first downs, a little bit of an edge to the Cowboys, 23-18. Looking at third down conversions, though, this is where I think kind of may have decided this game. The Giants were able to get those crucial third down conversions, 7 out of the attempts that they had in this game. The Cowboys only had 4. And then red zone, looking at the Giants, you'd think, okay, well, they struggled in the red zone a little bit, and the Cowboys were 100%, but it was outside of that red zone where maybe the Cowboys have struggled getting into that position later on in the game. Both teams scored a lot of points in the fourth quarter, as you can see by the quarter breakdown there. It was a close game going into the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden both offenses just exploded for 20-plus points. And kind of looking at the overall player stats, Charles Norris, the quarterback for the Giants, had a spectacular game here. 75% completion, 22-29. He had 411 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, no picks. And then on the opposite side of the ball here, the Cowboys, Justin Fields had a really solid day as well, 20-27, 74%, 309 yards, but only 1 touchdown. But the Cowboys, where we know where they're going to succeed is in that running that ball. 18 carries for Pollard, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns. Did have a long of 41. Justin Fields got a little bit of action in there in the rushing attack for the Cowboys. Again, we talked about in the box score there, the Giants could not get no rushing attack going. We had Barkley with 11 carries, 18 yards, 1.6 yards a carry. That's kind of almost unbelievable for what we've seen so far in the OMFL. But, man, the Cowboys' rush defense was definitely putting a stop there and making the Giants go one-dimensional. But, like we said, the Giants, just as the Cowboys are the rushing attack team, the Giants are the air it all out and take it deep on you. Jalen Hyatt, 5 catches, 164 yards, 3 touchdowns, a long of 71. He was getting the deep ball. And then on the opposite side of him, Randy Stanford, 7 receptions, 120 yards. Both these guys were just open all day long. They were like 7-11, never closed. And C.D. Lamb for the Cowboys putting in his work as well. Eight catches, 131 yards, and a touchdown. But, man, Hyatt with those 3 touchdowns, big play. Probably would have got my MVP for that game because he was making it happen on offense for the Giants. Tackles, look at King Braun. Oh, what a name.
These names.
11. Where's his name from?
Oh, we know where his name's from. This is Roger with his, LeBron James, King Braun. Roger's just he's a character, man.
11 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, and he didn't have a half sack. So he was kind of like all over the field there for the middle linebacker there for the Cowboys. He's definitely been one that Dwayne likes to use her. And man, does he use her really well. Bates was the leading tackler for the Giants. Free safety there for the Giants with 9 sack leaders. Obviously, it's kind of, you see the sack leaders there. Madison for the Giants. We don't see no Micah Parsons there, so the Giants did a good job of limiting his ability in this game. Looking at interceptions, nobody had interceptions because the guys were taking care of the rock. Man, but the Giants get the big. I think this is probably the first win for the Giants over the Cowboys this Madden. So I could be wrong, but I want to say this is the first win over the Cowboys this Madden. What a game to hang your hat on there for the Giants as they make a push to get in the playoffs.
That's a really good game. Taking a look at week number 11, some good games left to go. I don't know, maybe you do. Is Nipples around or is he CPU?
I want to say he's CPU because
okay.
I think he's on a cruise.
On a cruise, yeah. That would have been a really fun game, Dolphins and Ravens. Patriots and Steelers played to a great game, a 1-point game for Pittsburgh. Orlando and Texans played to a great one, a 23-19 victory for him. Jets and Bills could be a really, really fun game. Cowboys and Saints will be played tomorrow night, so if you want to see me get absolutely hacky sacked, come and watch that one. Chiefs and Broncos, I got to see the Chiefs stand up for themselves in this one. Bengals and 49ers. Bengals have dropped a couple games here, Maniac, and this one's going to be a massive test early not early, it's week number 11 in this one. The Rams, 1-point victory over the Arizona Cardinals. That was a really great game. And your Atlanta Falcons staying red hot with a 1-point victory over the Carolina Panthers. Minnesota with a 8-point victory over Toronto. And then the New York Jets with a 9-point victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just absolutely really awesome games. What about week number 12? What are you looking forward to?
Week number 12. Actually, there's quite a few games that we want to kind of look at. We're going to have our annual. It's kind of like twice a season because both these guys are in the same division. But our Buddy Bowl, the Bengals versus the Desperados, Little Koch and Denbrew, man, these guys always play each other really close. It's always an entertaining game when these two guys play each other. And then you have the Saints facing off against the Panthers. This is going to be a good game as well. Your Saints, you've actually kind of turned things around with those Saints, man, and you've actually got them rolling and doing a good job as well. And so I think this is going to be a good game. One, I think, would be kind of a Kev's going to say, like, no, it's not a game to watch. But Kev with the Bucks, they always put up points, it seems like. And even against the 49ers, he's put up some points in the past. And we've seen the 49ers actually give up some points so far this season into a couple of different teams. And things have been closer in some of his games than we normally saw. So that'll be an interesting game as well. Steelers versus Seahawks. Both these guys are coming in actually looking pretty solid. The Steelers have won and put together a few wins so far this season and are in the thick of things for the AFC North. The Seahawks right now are riding high there in the West on the NFC side. So this could be a good matchup. Could be a potential OMFL Bowl matchup. Who knows? But it should be a good game to watch. Broncos, Chargers. I think this one's going to be a really good one. The Chargers have been kind of up and down a little bit. The Broncos, all this Madden have been really down, but this season so far, he's got things rolling. I think this game could be one that could help decide who is going to walk away with the division title there for the AFC West. And then last but not least, the Condors and Bronco Man versus the Bills and Big Hurt. Big Hurt, since he's taken over the Bills, has kind of had an up and down type season. I know he's been really busy and stuff, but you never can count out a really good game when he's controlling a solid team. This could be a really good matchup that could possibly have implications for one of the other, especially the AFC East. I think the AFC East is kind of up for grabs. Could this be a game that the Bills win and get themselves back into that race for the AFC East? So, again, a lot of good games to check out this week here in week number 12.
Week number 13 starts out with a barn burner. Panthers, Condors. Sign me up for that. I know the Panthers are not having quite the season he thought that he would, but he's lost some really close games. He is still very much in the hunt. The Condors are flexing their muscles on everybody. He is just having his way right now. That's going to be a really fun game to watch. A sneaky under-the-radar game could be Rams Desperados. Rams, man, he hung with the 49ers a little bit just this last week or so whenever they played. He put up a lot of points. He gave him quite the show. Rams Desperados could be a really fun game to see how that one plays out. Falcons and Jaguars, another sneaky game. Your Falcons have been crazy red hot, arguably top 3, top 2, if not number 1 team in the entire OMFL against a Jaguars team that's starting to gain some confidence. No. I had to let you talk your stuff about my team, so you actually have a record to back that up. But the Jaguars gaining some confidence. You can't let yourself fall asleep in this one. That's going to be a really fun game. Black Knights and Lions. I just think this would be two guys who like to air it out, throw it around. You never know how that one's going to play out. Seahawks and Bengals could be a fun one. Again, the Bengals, I can't quite put my finger on it, Denbrew. I can't get a good read for how you do or don't enjoy this Madden, how your team is or isn't playing, but you can put up points with the best of them. Meek plays really great defense, but he also has an outstanding quarterback. To me, the story of this game is going to be what quarterback plays the absolute best. And then I don't know if Nipples is going to get back from his savage boat trip or not, but I hope he's back for this one. Cardinals and Ravens would just be a fun defensive game between two guys who like to attack you in very different ways, very unique ways, and can really be a very good game between two really good teams. And that is a look at week 8 through 10 as a recap, and week 11, 12, and 13 as a look forward. Let's do some OMFL news. Mr. Denbrew, take it away for OMFL news.
Welcome. I am Denbrew, and this is the OMFL news for season 110, and we are smack dab in the middle of week 11. Let's get right into it. Take a quick peek at the standings in the AFC. The Desperados and LC are leading the AFC North. The Condors have all but wrapped up the AFC South. It's not even close down there. The AFC East is a tight race with the Bills sitting on top. The AFC West is super tight. Chargers on top, followed by Broncos and Raiders all right there. And all just having great seasons over there in the AFC West. Over in the NFC, it's the Mounties winning the North. The East is led by the Cowboys, with the Giants are right there, only a game out. And over in the West, it's the Seahawks leading, with the 49ers sitting right there, only a game back. Some really good division battles going on in the OMFL, with the exception being the AFC South. That one is a wrap. Nobody is catching the Condors in the AFC South. The other thing I want to take a look at is some leaders to see if we had anybody taking a taking a hold of the MVP awards. So I took a peek at the quarterbacks, and it looks like Cale Grubbs from the QB from the Detroit Lions is having a nice season. Bijan Robinson of the Atlanta Falcons having a good year. Running back Isaiah Pacheco for the Niners, both of those guys are having good years on the ground for the Falcons and Niners there. Brandon DeMarco having a huge year for the Texans. He has got to be the leader probably right now. He's just having a big year. He's averaging like over 30 yards a catch. But those four, I would think, are your leaders at this point in the season. And then taking a quick look at the rookies, QB Joe Duke with the Dolphins, Bruce Allen, the running back for the Desperados, having a nice year, 990 yards, 10 touchdowns. Oliver Hull for the Saints, I don't know how you say that, H-O-L, Hull, is putting up good rookie numbers at wide receiver. So yeah, it's a quick look at the rookies, quick look at the MVP race, quick look at the standings, and that's a wrap for segment 1. I'll be back with segment 2. Turn it back to Nate and Maniac.
Thank you, Mr. Denbrew. I always say Hal. I don't know how you would say it. It's a made-up name, so say it how you want. I'm saying Hal because Hole just freaks me out. It creeps me out. I don't like it. Maniac, let's do some Memorial Day. Whose season looks to be in the running, but actually is DOA? Here's the top teams right now. Condors at 10-0, Seahawks 9-1, your Falcons 9-1. Cowboys 8-1, Chargers 8-2, Desperados 7-3, 49ers 7-2, Giants 8-2, Broncos 7-3, Raiders 7-3. Not going to talk about those teams because they are definitely in the running. Here are your bottom teams that we think are definitely out of it. Buccaneers 3-8. That's going to be tough to come back to. Eagles 2-7. Cardinals 2-8. Commanders 2-7. Titans 2-7. Vikings 3-8. Jaguars 2-8. Dolphins 1-8. And the Chiefs, as a shocker for me at least, at 0-9. We don't really want to talk about any of those teams. We want to talk about all those teams sort of right there in the middle, whose season looks like they still have an opportunity, but you think they're actually dead on arrival. I'm turning it over to you.
Okay, I actually looked at this several times whenever whenever you posted it up for the subjects for the show, and I was all like, man, who am I going to talk about and throw underneath the bus? But there's probably several teams that could fit this criteria, but I'm going to pick on the NFC North, and not particularly like one team. In fact, there's probably
all of them.
We still got like I mean, each one of them still have an opportunity to win this division. As crazy as it is, Bill, he was supposed to go over there and solidify this and just run away with it, and he has had some struggles. Even I have to chuckle because, man, sometimes I know the CPU can get the best of you, but man, that CPU Vikings team was on fire the other day, and they took it to Bill and those Mounties, man. Which was it was crazy to see that team, the CPU just running that offense and stuff. But man, the Mounties, they've got the best shot to win this, obviously, because they've got a 2-game lead over the Lions. But the Lions, one thing I have to say about the Lions, they do have a really good offense. They seem to put up quite a few points, but man, their defense is like letting them down a lot in some games. You've seen him kind of lose some close games, and so I'm not trying to just pick on each one of them, or just this division, but it just like the Black Knights, he plays a really good game one week, and then lays a stinker the next week. So whoever wins this division, though, they're obviously going to make the playoffs, but I have to say they're going to be dead on arrival, man. It's just going to be dead man walking coming into the playoffs from this division.
It's a great way to look at it. And yeah, I too thought Bill was going to step into that division and just kind of own it. He's really left it up in the air for a lot of other teams to sort of step in there and decide what they're going to do with that division. There's a couple of teams that I could look at and talk about here. I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills, though, at 5-4. I just think life is in the way right now. The poor guy is playing baseball like twice a day, every day for the next 6 weeks or something. He's coaching baseball and he's busy, and his team he can't find momentum or time to really get into it. And I think no matter what happens to the Bills, technically they are still very much in it at 5-4. Let's go over here to his little division. Oh, that's not it. This is it. 5-5 for the Patriots, 5-4 for the Bills, 5-5 for the Jets. Dolphins at 1-8. I think even though technically by losses, I think the Bills are leading this division, but maybe not with the tiebreakers. Currently, they're showing in second place, but I think the Bills are just dead on arrival. We're just not going to see him be able to find the momentum, the energy that you need if he does make a run for a wild card spot. Too little, too late. I think the Jets are going to get some things figured out. I'm pulling for the Patriots. Nothing against any of them. I just Lost is my dude, and he struggled, and he's tried to build this team. I feel like our teams are very similar in a lot of ways, the right way, and he's built it, and I want to see him get some victories there, sitting at 5-5. So I'm saying the Bills, they're dead on arrival. Our next one, burgers, fries. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to intersect there. We see the Jets on a 4-game losing streak. I don't know when we've ever saw Kobe on a 4-game losing streak.
I don't think ever.
Yeah, so that's really tough for them Jets to be in that position.
And it could be easy to say the Jets, but I don't like to give Kobe any kind of bulletin board material. I could have said the Patriots, but then that's picking on my buddy. I could have said Denbrew and the Bengals. They were another one that I think could be dead on arrival, but I don't want to give any of those guys any kind of bulletin board material. No. Also, Bronco Man said Condors are out of town on a cruise of his own June 13th, so terrible timing, so he might miss some of those games. Let's talk burgers, fries, and milkshakes. Who's eating up the competition? Are you ready to take your first one?
Yeah, I wanted a little bit of clarification. Are we talking about the actual players or the owners in the OMFL?
I'm gonna let you decide. That's the beautiful thing about Press Pass Live is no one's gonna get us in trouble. No one's gonna yell at us. We can make this up as we go. Whatever you read when it was in your head, you go with it.
Okay. Well, I kind of went both ways. So I went with an owner, and then I went with a couple of players that's in the league. So I'll just.
You know what's funny about this though? Just so that everybody else knows, because me and Mr. Maniac, we both are talkers, and we could talk, and these turn into like 4-hour shows. And so I told him, I said, pick 2 each. And then he says, oh, I picked a couple coaches, couple players. We got a little bit of everything. So Maniac not only likes to talk, but he can't read either. I
got when I see that, I was like, smorgasbord, man. I got
That's
several
so funny.
options. I got to have options. No, I was just going to intersect there with you just mentioned him, the Condors, man. Bronco, man, he's been on fire, 10-0. He's definitely making some burgers over there in Orlando. So I'll shout that out. And then my one player, and I'll have to switch over to the stats, is the Seahawks. And there was an interesting stat that I saw when I was looking at this, going across the stats in the league, how efficient a couple of these wide receivers are right now in the OMFL. And looking at, let's see if I can find him right quick. Metcalf from the Seahawks. Okay, he has 37 catches, and 15 of those are for touchdowns. It's nearly half, 50% of his catches have went for touchdowns. The dude is obviously on fire and frying and shaking and baking and whatever. 37 catches, 1,026 yards, 15 touchdowns. That is a man that is on a mission.
You know, there are a couple of players that I think are really tearing up the league, and yet when you look at some of the sort of records, they don't sort of fully match up. And there are a couple of teams I could have talked about, but I got to talk about your guy, Bijan Robinson. 164 carries, 1,042 yards, a 6.4 average, 14 touchdowns already on the season, no fumbles. He's averaging 104 yards per game. He's got 17 broken tackles with 305 yards after contact and a long of 75. Bijan has been, I think, a pivotal piece, maybe the piece, in turning the Falcons season around, and it has your Atlanta Falcons leading the NFC South and in the top of the NFC top 3 team here in the OMFL. And it all, I think, really lays at the feet of Bijan and what he's been able to accomplish for you. Who's your second guy?
Yeah, my second guy, I'm actually staying in the wide receiver department and looking at someone else that's kind of almost in a similar boat as the stats that we were looking at for Metcalf. And these pesky Panthers, man. I just played him. It was really down to the wire. It was a great game. Really should be an OMFL Classic game. But his wide receiver, Jonathan Mingo, it seems like he has struggled a little bit this season with passing the ball. He's not just airing it out as much. But, man, Mingo is such a weapon for the Panthers. And I think his offense either drives through Mingo or his running back. And so they kind of tandem off each other. And his running back is also like top 3 in the league, I think, in rushing as well. Just broke 1,000 yards in what the yards they had in our game. But Mingo, 28 catches, only 645 yards, but man, 11 touchdowns. So he's always looking to make the big play with this guy. He's not so much the guy that moved the chains, but man, if he needs a big play, no matter what the distance is, where he's on the field, whatever, one pass to this guy, and it could be game breaking, game changing. But Jonathan Mingo is a guy that is a game changer in the OMFL.
Absolutely. And there's probably some defensive players that we should give a nod to, but I don't know. I don't like defense, so I don't know. I'm just kidding. I just think that there are a lot of really good players that need our attention, and this show would be 800 hours long if we sort of just let ourselves go with it. I got to give a nod. The record isn't here, but the player stats are very impressive. And as much as Tim has struggled the last 2 Madden cycles, you got to give it to him. Kel Grubbs is having an outstanding season. 26 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, almost 70% completion percentage. He's averaging 327 yards per game and a QBR of 117.2. I don't know that at any point he has ever had a quarterback playing this exceptionally well in his time here in the OMFL. And so even though the record isn't there, I felt like you had to give a nod to what he's doing with Grubbs. You could also say the same about Austin Henry, but the interceptions are starting to creep up there. Yannick Blase, another one. He's been around for a long time, but that completion percentage is a little low. Steven Ryder, arguably one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen. That completion percentage is a little low. Overall completion percentage, touchdown to interception ratio, yards, QBR, rating, yards per game, yards per average, all across the board. Grubbs has had an outstanding season for the Detroit Lions. And I think they're definitely somebody that you got to give a nod to, man. This guy has been playing some really good football. Are you ready for one more OMFL news before we open up the mailbag?
Let's crank it out.
Let's do it, brother.
Okay, welcome back. Segment 2. Let's do a little on this day in history, but it's more like on this week in history. This day in history was a little light, I guess being maybe a Wednesday. I don't know. But anyway, it was a little light, so I expanded it to this week in history. So let's go all the way back to 1990. Ricky Henderson stole his 893rd base to break Ty Cobb's record. I knew Ty Cobb was a hitting machine. I didn't know he was holding the stolen base record also until 1990. 1981, Dr. J wins the NBA's Most Valuable Player Award, becoming the only player to win the award in both the NBA and the ABA. Let's look at 2006. Barry Bonds hits career home run number 715 to pass Babe Ruth for second place all time. That happened this week. And in 2009, Helio Castroneves won the Indy 500, and he edged out Dan Weldon and Danica Patrick, who finished third. All right, booze and brews, and I'm sending a brew to the Condors. They are the last remaining undefeated team in the OMFL, and I got a couple honorable mention brews. So, like, maybe the Condors get a full pint, and these honorable mention guys, they only get like a little, little mini beer. 2 honorable mention brews to the Seahawks and the Falcons for also having a really good season, but just 1 loss so far. And then I guess it's the season of the birds, right? So we got the Condors having a good year, the Seahawks having a good year, and the Falcons. What other birds are left? Ravens.
The Boo Birds.
And Eagles. Yeah. So good year for the birds in the OMFL. My boo of the week goes to myself. I had an FPR break. Shame on me. Shame on me. Shame on me. I got to do better. That's it for me. That's a quick one. Segment 2 in the books. Back to Nate. Back to Maniac. See you next week.
Just realized poor Maniac couldn't hear any of that. He probably had the stream pulled up. I know Maniac. He's constantly trying to find a way to listen, and I appreciate that about him. Yeah, the FPR thing, I may make a comment about. I may not. I'm tired, and when you're tired, your filters go away, and so maybe I shouldn't. Let's open up the OMFL mailbag, Mr. Maniac. Some good questions in here tonight. Bronco Man says, not sure if this is a question for the OMFL Press Fest Live. I think it is, but I will try anyway, he said. With the news that we have received regarding NCAA 25, how are we feeling? I have not got to read the latest news. I did glance a little bit when I got home. What does the outlook look like? Excitement levels, just general thoughts. Mr. Maniac, I'm going to let you go last on this one because you're going to be leading one of our NCAAs. You've already changed my logo for the Deuce. I see you out there messing with my logos. I really wanted to bring back OMFL College, which was a name that we used way back in the PC days when you could have, we had college, we had OMFL College, we had OMFL, OMFL 2, OMFL 3 at one point, OMFL Custom, which was all custom teams, custom players, everything, and then OMFL College. It was awesome, and no one knows that but me, and that's the only reason. But the OMFL, listen to me, I'm so tired. The Deuce Dynasty sounds really awesome too, so I'm really excited. But I would say, I don't know what my excitement levels are, Bronco Man. I think it's a great question. Some of the news today was expected, but it did put a damper, I think, on the excitement level for me. And that's no crossplay, which really doesn't make sense to me, especially since Madden already has implemented it. Crossplay, implemented crossplay. There you go. Use your words, Nate. So that is a double downer for me. Maniac brought up such a great point, but no Dynasty draft classes available. 100% it is tied to NIL and players' names and being in both games and not paid for both games. Like 100% that's what it is. And it makes so much sense. And it's just not something I thought about. And that sucks because that was one of the great things. And my only hope is that maybe one day they give us maybe just like custom, not real life college players. I don't know how they would do it. I'm totally thinking out loud here, but just like a custom draft generator that you could give us so that we could put it in Madden. But that doesn't make much sense because they have custom draft generators for Madden. So anyway, so none of that really makes sense, but it does put a damper. I don't know that I'm worried per se about 20 or 32 man franchises or whatever dynasties that they're calling them. But that's a lot of people to wrangle, and as you see, right, it's hard to keep two we don't keep two Madden leagues full. So the idea of keeping a Madden league and an NCAA league and multiple of those going at the same time feels worrisome, but it is a completely different game that has a completely different user base. And so maybe that is something that works out really well. I don't know that I have any excitement level. The game in the past was much more engaging. I'm not an NCAA fanboy, and I think that's probably just a pet peeve. Like, something that slightly bothers me is that NCAA people were like total fanboys, and they just like, man, completely sucks. NCAA was such a better game, and it's just revisionist history. NCAA had its flaws. My issue with NCAA was that it was always a cheesier game. It just was. It was like option plays 400 times a game, running with the quarterback 30 times a game. It's just like, it's a cheesier game style when it comes to sort of how do you manage gameplay. NCAA is more Wild West, very limited rules. And then I always got annoyed when you're recruiting and one of the other users somehow stole your player, and then you're left with nothing. And you're like, well, I don't even have a way to get better. At least in Madden, if I suck, I can draft high. Nobody can take that guy from me. But NCAA, you can suck and not be able to recruit, and then you're never going to get better. So those are like small pet peeves. But the game itself was so much more engaging, and the environment around it was so much more fun. I will play in one as long as the schedules allow me to, and it should be a ton of fun. Maniac, what about you? You're an NCAA guy. That's what got you started. So what do you think about it?
Yeah, I'm excited. Oh, I got an echo.
Oh, you probably got an echo because I put it on. Yeah, I don't even know how to fix that for you, but you're going to get an echo because you're hearing my stream, but nobody else is getting an echo. It's just you.
Okay.
I mean, I can turn it off, but you won't be able to hear all the other stuff.
No, that's okay. I'll deal with it. I'm excited about it because I think, again, like you said, that was kind of the way I cut my teeth in the community, was through NCAA, and kind of got involved with EA, and I've always loved Madden as well. So I've been a fan of both games. But growing up, a lot, the NCAA was my game. One, because you could play by yourself. You could do an offline dynasty where you could actually control things and do a lot of things with the off season that you couldn't do in Madden until I think Madden 05, and that's kind of where I transitioned and really got involved with Madden 2. Not only that, but I'm trying to think of stuff without making this like 20 minutes long with me talking, because I could do it if I really wanted to. But I think the overall, I'm excited about it. Yeah, I am disappointed about a couple of things. I don't think they're deal breakers per se in my book. But I do think that a lot of with NCAA, because I've played a lot of NCAA online leagues as well as Madden, and obviously 7 years ago when I came here to the OMFL to grown folks, this is where I made my home with Madden, and so that was what draw me into Madden even more, was because of this community. And that is one of the things too, though, with you talking about the NCAA having a fanboy base. Guys are really loyal to that game, and so they'll stick with it. You won't see. Now, we've had a lot of turnover in Madden, so you have like, we'll recruit guys. A lot of guys come in. Now, I'm not going to say that we're not going to have turnover in NCAA or EA College Football 25, but there just seems to be a different level of commitment from guys that play the college game compared to the Madden, and it may have changed. I mean, obviously, we have not had a college game in over 10 years, so the actual fan base may be a lot different, and so that may change. So, but this is from my experience in the past, and I think if we can get a good solid core, good rules that allow kind of like similar to the OMFL with fair play, but obviously, like you said, NCAA college football is more wide open because of just the type of offenses. And if you've been able to watch some of the guys that have talked about them and their experience with playing EA College Football 25 so far at EA Play for the media, they talk about how the game is more wide open, a lot fluid. Obviously you're going to have a lot more option type plays or college, especially the last few years with the spread offenses. They do a lot of RPO type plays in college. So you're probably going to see a lot of that stuff be a focal point with the offensive sets, especially in the college game. And so, rules will have to be adjusted or whatever, but to try to limit, certain things so it's not just completely abused. But I just think the overall outlook towards the game is very positive. I know I say that with tongue in cheek because I know we've all been burnt by the excitement level of a Madden being, this is going to be the best Madden that they've made, and all of a sudden, things turn totally south as the game comes out. But I will say this, and I'll shut up. One of the guys on I think one of the podcasts I was listening to from the Gaming Tailgate or one of those places, but anyway, they were talking about the development team that is associated with the college football, and he said that he had been attending Madden events the last couple of years, and how that we go in and talk to the developers at Madden, like saying, these things, that things and stuff, and a lot of times they just kind of went to deaf ears or whatever he said. But the development team for the college football, he said that he was so impressed with how attentive that they were to listening to any of their thoughts and ideas, because he said they were so passionate about this game. And I think, again, where Madden is limited because the NFL license, I think the game for college is going to be more wide open, diverse, and I think it's going to be so much more engaging than Madden has been in a long time. So
I 1,000% agree with that. All those comments, but that last one especially, that NCAA has way more freedom and flexibility to do way more than what Madden is allowed to do. And it will be a game that I could see me playing offline. I don't play any offline games, but NCAA has a tendency to be that engaging that might be something I play offline. Bronco Man, I agree with you. I do enjoy the gameplay of Madden more, but NCAA was just a funner game to play. And I think we're going to see even more of that, maybe a larger gap of that, because NCAA has way more freedoms and flexibilities to be able to do that. All right, let's see if we can get to these last two pretty quickly, because I feel like no, you've done great. You have not went long. Don't worry about it. I am fading fast is the problem. We're a little over halfway through the season of Madden 24 cycle. What is your guys' favorite, most memorable moment of the cycle, whether that be for you or your team or just something in general? Trying to switch up my questions so I don't get repetitive. I love it, Bronco Man. Appreciate you. Mine are going to be the bowl games. Those, outside the one blowout bowl game that we had, which I feel bad for my guy Black Cats, the bowl games are always a ton of fun. They're a blast to call. They're a lot of excitement. Me and Maniac gets to make time for that one. And those are always a ton of fun. And I think most of them have had very pivotal moments that have happened throughout those games that have made them just a really fun thing to call and to, have fun with, because I'm not emotionally invested into the game. And so I think those have been my most fun thing. I've sucked this entire Madden. So there have been a few games that have been fun because they just felt really good. But overall, it's been the bowl games. So what about you, Maniac?
I agree 100% with you on the bowl game, because There's been a couple of bowl games that have been really entertaining, and the last couple Maddens when we've done bowl games, 9 out of 10 times it's been like a big blowout, and so either one way or another. And so we've actually seen some of those this cycle, but we've also seen a couple that were really entertaining. And I'll throw in one game. In fact, I think pretty much, except for like one or two of our games, we've had some really between you and I with the Saints and the Falcons. We've had some really good, entertaining type games, really chess type match games where you just like. You know what you did wrong, because and then the other person was like almost just reading your mind. You're like, man, it's almost like you just read my playbook, because he because we've played a lot of each other, and so. But anyway, and some of those games have been fun. I know we've had some games that turn one way or the other for each of us, but. There's been a couple games though that it's just right down to the wire, almost kind of like the game I had with the Panthers today, and so it's been those type of games that I really have enjoyed this Madden so far.
All right, last one. Let's see how quickly words. Man, I'm telling you, I'm fading fast. Apologize. Tim says halfway through the season, which teams, divisions are you watching to see who makes the playoffs? We're going to go through each of them. Just tell me who you think wins this division. AFC North, Desperados 7-3, Bengals 5-4, Steelers 6-5, Ravens 3-7. I'm going to go ahead and call it now. Desperados win this one.
I will agree with you on that one. Desperados.
AFC South, Condors 10-0, Texans 3-7, Titans 2-7, Jaguars 2-8. We're not even talking about this one. Sorry. AFC East, Patriots
6-8, Jaguars.
Patriots 5-5, Bills 5-4, Jets 5-5, Dolphins 1-8. I'm gonna go ahead and picking with my heart tonight. I'm taking the Patriots 5-5.
I'm going to go with the Jets, but I am rooting for the Patriots too.
Yep, that's the smart pick. AFC West, Chargers at 8-2, Broncos 7-3, Raiders 7-3, Chiefs 0-9. Shockingly, a really good division this middle of the season, and that's good to see. These teams have turned it around, but I'm sticking with my buddy Black Cats and the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm actually going with the Broncos. I think he's been kind of the hot hand, but man, those Chargers, seven straight wins. It's kind of hard to go against that.
Yep. NFC North is the one you already talked about. Mounties 6-5, Lions 4-6, Black Knights 3-7, Vikings 3-8. I think a better question about who wins this division is does a team over 500 win this division, or is it going to be under 500? I'm going to take the Mounties. I don't know.
It's going to come down to, I think, these two teams, Mounties and Lions. I think Tim, I almost had a vocal stroke there or whatever. Tim has actually really put together a better offensive output this season, so I see him pushing the Mounties, but I am going to call it Mounties, but I think it's going to be a closer race than a lot of us think it could be.
NFC South, Falcons 9-1, Panthers 6-4, Saints 6-4, Buccaneers 3-8. Tell me why it's not going to be your Falcons. Yeah, you can't. It's the Falcons. Cowboys 8-1, Giants 8-2, Eagles 2-7, Commanders 2-7. Who is going to win this one? Giants big upset over the Cowboys for their only loss. Who do you think?
I'm going to roll with the Giants. I think he's going to kind of go on. I mean, he's already on a 6-game winning streak, so I think he's going to keep that streak running. And I think him and I play this next week, so it's going to be a good matchup.
Playoffs just hit different, and as much as I love Colin and his Giants, the Cowboys know how those playoffs heat up and what it takes to win in the playoffs. NFC West, Seahawks 9-1, 49ers 7-2, Rams 4-7, Cardinals 2-8. Who's winning the NFC West?
I'm gonna call it to the Seahawks, but man, 49ers, they're probably gonna make the playoffs, and they'll do their thing in the playoffs and be sitting pretty at the end.
I'm taking the 49ers just so that we're not saying the exact same thing for this whole show. All right, Mr. Maniac, let's wrap it up. Again, I was expecting to be by myself, so I set it on the profile for just me and my ugly mug, but Mr. Maniac is definitely with me. I promise to have him back for the next one. Maniac, give me one final thought, and then I'm going to go try to shoot somebody in the face in PUBG before I go to bed.
Good show. I'm glad I was able to sneak in with you.
I am too. Thank you for making time, bud.
Glad you made it home safe from Austin, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how things unfold in this last season, getting in the playoffs. And obviously, we got news about NCAA or EA College Football 25 is supposed to be coming out tomorrow, official news. So I'm curious to see what's happening on that front tomorrow. But man, I'm excited for the college game and getting some things rolling on that side of the ball here.
Before we go, there was some tweets. Is this information that's going to come out tomorrow that people just let out a little early, or is there going to be even more information dropping tomorrow?
There's supposed to be more information dropping tomorrow. I think they gave some of the guys that were there at EA Play for media days. I think they gave them a little bit of a leeway to talk about the things that they'd already revealed. Especially kind of being vague about gameplay, guys, don't worry, is it going to play like Madden, or is it going to play like what we're accustomed to NCAA? One of them said, guys, don't worry, it doesn't play like Madden, so you'll find out soon enough. And I think so. I think some of those official things from EA is going to come out tomorrow, but some of these guys have kind of been vaguely talking about some things and kind of getting maybe guys to settle down on some things that they're worried about.
There's a video posted that somebody posted about being able to play the new NCAA, so maybe go check that out. One of my secret hopes for this game is that it sounds like, though they use the same engine, they started from a ground zero rebuild of the game. That's what has taken them 3+ years, whatever it's been. My secret hope is that maybe there's some foundational pieces there with the new engine that Madden did not get to do, because when they moved to the new engine, they did not get to rebuild a brand new game from scratch. They have some old code that has some crappy stuff in there. So my secret hope is that since they had to take the time to rebuild NCAA, there might be something there for Madden to be able to use. I doubt it, though, because it probably just doesn't work that way. But that is a sort of secret hope. My last final thought is I'm really tired. It has really hit me pretty hard here after traveling for the last 2 days and some intense, stressful moments as I venture into a brand new professional career. And for any of you who've ever done that, you go from doing something for a long time that you're super competent, super confident, and you get paid really well to do it, and you go do something brand new. It's like, ooh, I don't feel safe and good anymore. And so I think all of that emotion is now drained, and I am tired. So take this with a slight grain of salt, friends, but the Bible says, and I don't pull out many Bible verses on y'all because I try not to rock that way, but I do have them. Judge by the measure you wish to be judged by. Now, I am using that from the NLV, which is the Nathan Lejeune version. But and though it may be paraphrasing the Bible, the concept is still the exact same. You don't need to understand King James language. I hate to tell everybody, Jesus did not talk in King James language and did not write in King James language. Just say it to where people understand it. And what that means is you should judge those around you by the measure you wish to be judged by. And some of these FPRs are getting crazy nitpicky. And I think what has happened is we've tried to talk some people out of popping dudes for nitpicky stuff, and instead we've popped them, and now people are doing the retribution thing, and we're popping everybody for every minor infraction that we possibly can find. And if that's what we want to do as a community, cool. We'll all be held to that exact same standard. But I would also, as I had told everybody, show some patience and some kindness, and know when something was really done to affect a game and when something that was done just by accident. And sometimes we're not robots, and we're tired, and the situation didn't click in my head, and I didn't realize it was 3rd and 2, and I ran a 3-wide shotgun run. Like, wasn't because I was trying to cheat you, wasn't because I was trying to break the rules. It's because we were playing at 10 o'clock at night, and I didn't realize it was 3rd down. I got lost. Tom Brady got lost on 4th down in real life. Like, it happens. So anyway, I don't know. I just worry when we start like getting very micro with rules, and the last couple I feel like have been super micro. But anyway, this is what happens when we're managing 32 grown adults and their personalities, which is why I can't imagine doing this for 64 people for an NCAA league and a Madden league. But anyway, I'm tired. Maniac, thank you so much, man, for making time and hanging out with me here tonight. Thank you guys for logging in and watching Press Pass Live, for submitting the questions. I love you. Remember, take care of yourselves. Take care of those around you. Know that you matter. And I cannot wait to see you in the next one, which is literally tomorrow. So come watch me get my stuff manhandled as I get hacky sacked across the yard by Mr. D. Wayne. Guys, I love you. We'll see you in the next one. Deuces.
Bye.
Smash that like and subscribe.